Perloff, we have to actually start with last night and what we saw in the Monday Night Football doubleheader, because there were a lot of people who were very quick to say, oh, did we just watch a potential Super Bowl preview?
Right.
Not the Bills and Titans and not the Eagles and the Vikings, but the Bills on the AFC side and your Eagles on the NFC side.
Wait. Yeah, fact. What's the problem here?
Okay. I can't quite get there with your Eagles quite yet. Jalen Hurts was excellent last night, no doubt about it. You probably have a better path and maybe an easier path being in the NFC, but are you so willing to crown Jalen Hurts right now and say, I know that Jalen Hurts can win a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
You are the person who has said running quarterbacks cannot win Super Bowls, even though we debunked that a little bit, but you've been steadfast. You do not think running quarterbacks can win Super Bowls, yet you think Jalen Hurts can win a Super Bowl.
Wait, first of all, you're labeling him a running quarterback. He was airing it out perfectly last night. He had that long touchdown to Watkins. I don't think you can. He's not a running quarterback like a young Lamar Jackson was. Lamar Jackson threw for 3,000 yards or something in his MVP season. Jalen Hurts is 7th in the league in passing right now. I think he's going to end up being a 4,300-yard passer. That's not a running quarterback.
But Lamar had 300 yards of passing in week 2. Jalen Hurts had 300 yards of passing in week 2.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts way ahead of passing yard. He's just going to have much bigger passing numbers than Lamar Jackson will. He's in this kind of offense where it's meant for him to pass the ball as well.
So you think that he can win you a Super Bowl?
I think he could get to the Super Bowl. I guess if he could get there. Yeah, I think the Eagles are right in the mix this year.
Are you surprised by that?
They're definitely in the top 3 teams. I'm not. Everyone had them as a favorite last night. They jumped from 4th in odds to 2nd in odds in the NFC. So I still think that a lot could happen. But his style, he is dangerous enough with his arm. He's really dangerous with his arm that I don't put him into that category. There's a lot of guys who come in the league, young quarterbacks who can win a lot of games running, right? We saw Tim Tebow do it.
Right.
We saw Vince Young do it. We saw, Lamar definitely did it. But in the playoffs, everything tightens up. You saw the Bills, what they did to Lamar Jackson. Can Jalen Hurts pass enough to get them there? And I think they can. Another thing, they have the best offensive line probably in the NFL. That's a huge factor. I don't think Lamar Jackson has that. I think that, yes, I do think Jalen Hurts can get you Super Bowl. Do you not?
When people were saying this was the possible Super Bowl matchup, I was like, yeah, maybe on one side. I mean, I don't know if I can get there yet with Philadelphia. And the secondary played great. I just think that there's something about Kirk Cousins in prime time, or just Kirk Cousins in general. Can we just get this guy off the TV when it comes to prime time? How about a 1 o'clock window, 4 o'clock Eastern? That's great. Give me all the Kirk Cousins at 1 and 4. Once he goes on at 8 o'clock Eastern or after, it's like the guy somehow forgets to play football. He was throwing it more to the Eagles secondary last night than his own wide receivers. I mean, bye-bye to my Justin Jefferson dark horse MVP pick. That one's going to go out the window if Cousins has more games like that. And credit the Eagles secondary. But I just think the ship has totally sailed here on Kirk Cousins. I don't know if there's anybody who believes he's still a possible Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Did anyone believe that before this year?
He gets paid like he should be someone in the mix for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone. There's a lot of buzz around Kirk Cousins. Hey, he'll pick up those numbers to Justin Jefferson. I have him on my fantasy team. In the daytime, he's great.
Yes, in the day. Only in the day. I don't want him at night.
He's always been an A-Rod type stat compiler. He's amazing. He'll get you 400 yards in a game they lose 38-27 all day. He's a great stat compiler. But I think Hurts is at another level. He's a completely different kind of player than Cousins. I think you can win a lot of meaningful games with Hurts. I mean, who do you have ranked higher? If you had to pick one quarterback for one season, this season, to get to Super Bowl, who would you pick, Hurts or Cousins?
I like that Hurts is way more versatile, I guess, than Kirk Cousins is. You know, they gives you a little bit different of an element, and I don't trust Kirk Cousins on a big stage. I don't know if I trust Jalen Hurts, but I'd like to at least find out. I have enough evidence with Kirk Cousins. Like, I have enough evidence to know that I don't think that he's going to be a guy who can win a Super Bowl for me. And this is also where, and I know it's a little bit switching sides, but over to Dak Prescott. We've asked whether or not we think Dak Prescott can win a Super Bowl. Again, the stats are there. He's got a good arm. He's athletic. But ask yourself, on the biggest stage, do you think that Dak Prescott is going to make the winning play for you? And I'm not there with him yet, even though I'm obviously a lot higher on the Cowboys this season than anyone else, considering my bet for them to make the playoffs.
I never think of Dak as a non-clutch quarterback. He's pretty good in the fourth quarter.
I'm talking about playoffs. Like, where's the moment? Because Kirk Cousins is 34, and I know he wasn't starting from the very beginning of his career. Obviously, he was a late round pick, and RG3 was there. But like, at some point, are you going to show like who you are? Not everybody can be Rich Gannon and have like this late career emergence thing, or like Matthew Stafford, who gets traded to this team that was ready to win anyway. At some point, are you who you are?
Okay, here's the bottom line: how many quarterbacks do you, Maggie Gray, think can win a Super Bowl?
Like 8.
Like 8. Okay, so that's a pretty high list. Would you have put Stafford in that list before last year?
You know, to be fair, probably not. But he did get traded to like this unbelievable circumstance where you have a head coach that you trust, you have an incredible defense that's full of stars, and you have one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the game. So he walked into a pretty awesome situation.
Cooper Kupp wasn't the best wide receiver in the game when Jared Goff was there.
Okay, well, he was a very good wide receiver who obviously needed not only a new quarterback, but wasn't Kevin O'Connell was there too, right?
Yeah,
as the offensive coordinator.
I think he was there before. What if you put Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts into that Rams team?
Okay, but see, that's the thing. If I'm talking about quarterbacks that I think are great or have the opportunity to be great, then I'm talking about not a guy who can come in like Jared Goff can get you to a Super Bowl, but he's not a great quarterback. I'm talking about somebody who can get you there even when things aren't perfect. You know, like even when things aren't awesome and you don't have the best offensive line and you don't have a $100 million wide receiver or something like that, can that person elevate you? I don't think Kirk Cousins is that guy. I'm not sure that Jalen Hurts is that guy.
Okay. Well, obviously Kirk Cousins is not. It's not that. Both guys probably need the right things around them. I just think it's sort of dismissive. I don't care about Kirk Cousins. Let's not even go there because he hasn't been close yet.
Yeah.
The question is Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. I love watching him play. I mean, he's awesome. And he's easy to root for because he's got a great story. Yeah. It's got so many good themes like, you know, perseverance and, you know, even getting benched at Alabama and like being a good teammate. There's so many good things to like about him. I guess I'm just going to have to see just a little bit more before I say, oh my gosh, I think he's on the same level as Josh Allen. Or Patrick Mahomes or whatever.
Yeah. Well, here's one advantage he has. Those guys are in the AFC.
There's a
real opportunity here. And let's say Eagles Bills was a Super Bowl preview. Anything could happen in a Super Bowl.
No doubt. Oh, yeah.
I mean, this pretty shoddy Bengals team almost beat the Rams last year.
Shoddy.
I mean, look at them, right? They're the same team that can't stop anybody from getting to the quarterback right now.
They should be better this year.
Yeah, and they definitely are not. So I don't like this Eagles disparagement. I say nothing but nice things about your Buffalo Bills. In fact, I think
you in America say nothing but nice things.
Yeah, I think I have been just reading headlines out loud to you. The Buffalo Bills already look like a team of destiny, and you cringe. Why are you cringing? Why can you not enjoy the fact that my Eagles are going to play your Buffalo Bills
in the Super Bowl?
Maybe my Eagles are a question mark, but the Bills are not. I am so sorry to say this, but after week 2, it seems pretty obvious on the AFC side that one team is way above the rest.
Dude, that's not even close. Like, okay,
What?
I do love watching the Bills. It was fun last night. No doubt. I'm a Bills fan since I was born. Of course, like, this is awesome. But you can't accuse me of having hyperbole about whether Nathaniel Hackett is a disaster or all these other things and drawing conclusions after week 2. And then you can say without a doubt you think the Bills are going to the Super Bowl. None of us know anything, first of all. And 2, I'm not comfortable being a front runner. You know, there's some people in life, like if you are, I don't know, like if you're a fan of, this is going to seem like not a compliment, but if you're like a Dallas Cowboys fan or you love Tiger Woods, like you love the favorite, you know, if you love the team that has historically always been in the mix or you love the champion, that's great. There's nothing wrong with it. But I'm not comfortable in that role because none of the teams I root for have ever been a front runner that I remember. Like, I don't remember, you know, as well the early Bills teams.
Yeah,
that lost the Super Bowl.
Do you remember the first 2 weeks of the NFL season when the Buffalo Bills outscored the defending champion and the number 1 seed in the AFC 72-17? Do you remember that? Do you remember last night when some fullback who I'd never heard of, named Armin Gilliam or Ronald Gilliam or something, broke 9 tackles to get in the end zone in the first play and said, "This game is over"? Yeah. Do you remember Von Miller saying this defense is going to destroy people last night?
How good does Von Miller look? Good grief.
Do you remember Stephon Diggs being uncomfortable? Maggie, accept this. And it's like you think if you get too comfortable about this team, it's going to affect their play. You said you're not comfortable being a front runner. You know that fans cannot affect what's happening on the field.
You sit in the same seat when Case Keenum's on the screen, just so that because you guys are friends.
No,
which, by the way, anytime you can see some Case Keenum in the game last night, you're doing something good.
Oh yeah. America was relieved to get Malik Willis versus Case Keenum in the fourth quarter because the Bills, the other matchup wasn't working for anyone.
That's a good point.
Yeah, no, this is an interesting one because I'm actually enjoying it. Every day for the rest of the football season, I might come in and say one thing about how the Bills are going to the Super Bowl just because I'm enjoying seeing you squirm. You just cannot handle this at all.
No, I can't. I have no idea what this is like. My Mets actually clinched a playoff berth last night. No clue what that really feels like. And I watched them in the World Series not that long ago.
Well, that actually will fall apart.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
That's a train to disaster.
Yeah.
The Bills are not. This is the best team in the NFL.
See, I feel like you're saying all this stuff and it's just going to come back to haunt the Buffalo Bills when something inevitably goes wrong. Like this feels like I feel like I'm being set up here.
Okay, there's one thing that can go wrong, and knock on wood, Josh Allen, if he gets hurt, that's very bad.
Yeah.
What else can go wrong? There's so
a million
deep.
things. A million things can go wrong. More injuries. I mean, we saw
How
last
many injuries
night.
What injuries did we see last night?
I mean, the really serious one, obviously, with Dane Jackson.
Yeah.
That was awful, but it turns out he's going to be okay. He left the hospital last night, and he's got full use of his extremities. Micah Hyde left the game last night. That if anything happened to Stephon Diggs, if anything happens to your left tackle, there's a million things that could go wrong about that. Well, here's something that I know is going to sound really odd, but I believe this with my whole heart. And I know it's only week 2, but I really don't want the Bills to even be in the conversation about a team going undefeated. The schedule is not crazy. If they get through the next couple games, there might be a real possibility, and they look like a juggernaut. I don't know if this is going to end up being like, don't worry, Maggie, they're not going undefeated. They're going to lose 6 games and something bad's going to happen, or more. But I really don't want any of that. I don't want 07 Patriots. I don't want the going for history thing. I don't want to be the Golden State Warriors at 73 wins. Just because those things haven't worked out when you're going for that kind of record and trying to chase history. I don't want any part of that as a Bills fan.
All right. I wasn't even actually ready to go there. But
I'm just saying, I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
Need to have a loss. Need to have, I hope it's not against Miami next weekend because obviously that's in the division, but don't want any part of that.
So don't they have the Chiefs and the Packers coming up? They were talking about it last night. I mean, come on. They're going to trip up somewhere, right?
I mean,
I love the Bills, but I'm not talking undefeated.
Okay. I think the Chiefs.
If they go 8-0, I'll be talking undefeated every day. I'll have posters around the room of the 72 Dolphins. Just
I'm
to
getting
torture
ahead
you.
of the story.
Yeah. So I do like actually the wild optimism. You're like, I don't want undefeated talk.
No,
all right.
I don't.
So you do have it somewhere in you. The confidence is in there. I mean, could you at least enjoy last night watching them steamroll the Titans?
Yes, I did because there's obviously a lot of history between the Titans and the Bills. You guys were really loving the fact that we could talk about the Music City Miracle yesterday. Yeah. People love to bring that up, one of my worst childhood memories. But there's a lot of demons to kind of be slayed here this season. And that's what I look forward to the most. The loss last year, the Titans was awful. You avenged that loss last night. I love that. You're going to play the Chiefs. You got to avenge that loss. You have to do a Game of Thrones style, taking out everybody who could be in your path. And that kind of thing I like to see.
Oh, man, you're violent because what if they face none of those teams and just beat a bunch of other AFC teams to go to the Super Bowl? That'd be fine too, wouldn't it?
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, you're like, all this history. You know who cares about the Titans-Bills history outside of the Buffalo Bills?
Just me.
Nobody. I don't even think Doug Flutie cares anymore.
Even he's over it? I doubt it.
I just think that this Bills team, if it's different. I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen a team. Look how they opened what they did the Rams in week 1 and now the Titans. I don't remember this in a long time.
Another reason why I start getting weird about it is because look at the other teams that have broken their long droughts. There are times when we're watching great stories in sports, like when the Cubs win the World Series finally, and when we saw the Red Sox win the World Series finally. And
Astros.
when we saw the Cavaliers finally win a championship for Cleveland.
Yeah.
These Philadelphia winning a Super Bowl. These great stories where people get to talk about how difficult it was and how it's all worth it now. And you were there with the team when they stunk and you stuck by them and all that stuff. And I just never thought it could possibly happen for the Bills. So now when everybody's talking about, oh, they're obviously the best team and they're just going to steamroll, I can't go there because I've watched other teams do it and my team hasn't yet. And I think Vikings fans will actually be about this too. And I imagine Vikings fans were probably very frustrated last night watching Kirk Cousins again in primetime, again, not having his team in a place that's competitive.
Yeah, I think Vikings fans are used to it at this point. Don't you think? I don't know.
But what's the plan then?
Yeah, they're in limbo. I mean, that's the bottom line. I don't know what's going on with Kirk Cousins. I think he's going to have a very good season. Kevin O'Connell is a good offensive guy.
Yeah.
But, I didn't see anyone pick the Vikings to go to the Super Bowl preseason.
No, but there were some people who picked them to win the division.
Yeah, they were a dark horse division. Hey, maybe they did beat up the Packers in week
that's
one.
true.
That's not, okay, let's not jump too far on them. But I think I'm so much more bullish on the Eagles. The Eagles feel like they have a high ceiling. And that's why I think everyone was talking Eagles, Bills to circle back. That's why people were thinking Eagles, Bills. Like the Eagles have the formula. They have the elite offensive line. Now they have all these big players on defense.
Yep.
They have a pass rush. They have what looks like an elite quarterback. So that's the whole formula. It feels like the Eagles are a whole package. I don't think you should dismiss the fact that we could have a Maggie and Perloff Super Bowl. I don't like to talk about it because it'd be incredible for the show.
I don't know.
If it was Buffalo, Philly.
I don't know how we'd exist together in the same room. It would be too much.
I think just getting there, that's the other thing too. We being the Eagles, we have our championship. Just getting there would be nice this year.
I know. See, you and I are talking like this. It's going to end up being like it's going to be a Vikings Chiefs Super Bowl.
Okay, let's maybe
because that's how the universe works.
Let's say Bucks Chiefs, Vikings Chiefs. I don't know.
I'm just saying because we're putting them down today, they're going to come back and put it all in our faces in a couple months. I mean, anything. Thank you for watching our video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see more videos like this, just hit the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell.
Just hit the bell.